Next, I'm going to show you how to use the arc tool. The arc tool can be somewhat confusing at times, and it really just takes using it a lot to sort of get used to what it's going to do. Sometimes you'll just have to try different arcs in order to achieve the arc that you're wanting to achieve. And by that I mean, you have several different options and choices for your arcs, and you'll forget exactly what each one does. However, if I go up here to the arc tool in the draw panel, okay, and that's right here, I'm going to click on the pull down arrow, and I'm going to start with 3-point arc. And see here, these are the different options that you have. You have many different options of what you can do or how you can start and end your arc. If I hover over any of them, say 3-point, it'll give me instructions on how to actually use that particular arc. This one says 3-point creates an arc using 3 points, and in the image below that you see where it says 1, that's your first click, 2 would be your second click, and then 3 would be your third click. Okay, so if I select 3-point and do it just like they said, so I collect my first point here, and then I click on the second point, which is kind of like going to be the, I guess, the apex of the arc. I click there, and then I drag it over here and click the last point of the arc, and you see how as I move it, it changes the arc shape or the arc radius, and I can click wherever I want to attach that to. The next selection is start, center, end, and if we hover over that, it tells us again down in the diagram below, it says to click first on one end of the object, then we click the center of where the arc is going to be with number 2, and then we click 3 where the arc is going to end. Okay, so I'm going to select start, center, end. So I'm going to start it, I'm going to bring it here, and I'm just going to center it right here on this arc, and then I'm going to bring it up here to its end. Okay, and I don't know why it did it exactly like that. Again, that's one of those things you just have to keep trying it and to see what it's going to do. Okay, so basically the start and then the center of my arc here. I guess it was constraining to that particular center point right there. If I would have stretched it any further, this would no longer be the center. So that's why it did that. Okay, next we have start, center, and angle. If we hover over that, it gives us more instructions, and I'll let you kind of read those instructions on your own. But it tells us in the image below to click first on our first point at the end of the object, then find the center point, and then we stretch the cursor off in another direction to achieve the angle of that arc. So let's try that one. Okay, let's see, let's start in a different location here. Start. We're going to click wherever the center is going to be, and we want to make the center right there. Alright, and then we're just going to give it a distance simply by moving our angle of the cursor from the center point here. Then we can get our distance if we want it to execute here, or we may want it to go all the way over here and join with that line. And of course, don't worry about drawing this exact picture. Just mainly what I want you to do is practice using the arc tool. And I do want you to practice those as we do them. Next, we'll go to start, center, length. And it's very similar to start, center, angle. But it tells us to click on the first point to start point, then go all the way over to the other side to click on the third point. I'm sorry. Click on the center. All right, click first, second, and third, basically. Very similar to that start, center, angle. Let me look at that start, center, angle again. Very similar. Okay, but we're going to make 3 clicks on this one. Start, center, and then the end point. So we'll do start here. We'll make this our center, and then we have to have an end point. So we want it to end right here. Of course, we have to be able to see it. And as I stretch the cursor, it makes it longer instead of going about an angle like this one, like we did on the previous one. Okay, we just stretch it and it makes it longer. There, we got another arc. Okay, start, end, and angle. And if I hover over it, I'm going to hover over it here this time. Start, we'll click the start point, we'll click the end point where we want it to connect to, and then we angle it before we click on that third one. So start, end, and then angle. Okay, so whichever way, I think it'll go right about to the straight tangent point there, and then it disappears. Okay, and you set your angle that way. All right. Next arc is start, end, and direction. Hover over that, and it shows us there start point number 1 at the end of the object we're creating the arc on. Then we click on the second position, which is really the end point, and then we move our cursor as you show there with number 3 to get our direction of the angle. So let's say I'm going to zoom out here. Okay, go back here and select that start end direction. I want to start it here. I want it to end over here. And now I can create the distance. This is one that I understand a little bit more than some of the other ones. And let's see if we want to get really a tangent dome there, we just kind of get it around about a 90-degree angle, and there we go. Okay, the next one is start, end, and radius. If we hover over that, we click our start with number 1, click our end with number 2, very similar to the last one, and then we use the third click to set the angle, or the radius, I'm sorry. So click here, start point, end point. Okay, and now it's giving us, of course it's in one direction. Now I can hold, there's one button on here that you can use to modify what you're doing anytime you're using the arc tool. And I can hold the control and switch directions up here to the top. Let control go and it goes back down and does it on the bottom. Okay, so I can make that same nearly tangent right there dome by using that feature. Center, start, end. If I hover over that, we get the center. So we click the center of our arc first, and then we click the starting point, and then where we want it to end up. So let's see how that works. Start, center, end. So we're going to go here, start. Our center point is going to be right here, and then our end point is going to be right here. That didn't work the way I thought it was going to. Oh, center, start, end. Was that the one that I was doing there? Yeah, center, start, end. So basically that first click I did, I clicked in the center. Let me redo that, show you how that should work there. So center, start, end. So I want it to be center here. I want it to start here. I want it to end here. There we go. Pretty simple, huh? Okay, the next one is center, start, angle. So if I hover over that, you click on the center and then the start point, and then you move to an angle or a desired angle and click for number 3 to get it where you want it to be. So here, start at the center, end, and then angle. Okay, so here we completely tangent in the other direction, or I could take it on through until we make a complete circle out of it. Next one is center start length. Okay, so we find the center of something, and let's go right here, center, and this will be our start point, and then we set our length. Okay, and how far we want that to go. And again, remember that control button. Click on the control button, you can change the direction of that. Let me get out here where you can see that a little bit better. So center, start, and then length. And I'm going to click the control button to make it go in the other direction. Okay, so you really just have to play around a lot with these arcs. Sometimes when you're drawing and you're getting ready to make an arc, you may try 1 or 2 different arc options before you actually get the right one, get it to do what you want it to do. And then of course with experience you kind of get used to it. Now continue is the last one, and that basically just continues, real simple there, creates an arc tangent to the last line or arc drawn. So if I click that, select it, it's going to go right to that last one that I drew right there, and I can create another arc like this and create something kind of like a snowman there, sort of. Okay, all right, so that's it on the arc tool. Please be sure to take the quiz that follows this, and we'll see you in the next video.